Hi, it's John McKeag with Royal LePage RCR in Alliston. Been a licensed real estate representative with Royal LePage since 2000. Doing a series of videos related to real estate topics. This one in particular is about putting in an offer on a property, whether it's in town or a rural property, whether it has a house or a no house. When you put in an offer, the main conditions that you're going to be putting in on all properties will be finance, and chances are inspection as well, home inspection. You're going to do the financing first for 5 days, business days. Then you'll do a home inspection after that, and that will be within those 5 business days as well. You may need to extend that a little bit longer if the finance takes a little bit longer to get approved. You'll also do quite possibly SPP, which is sale of purchaser's property, with an escape clause. You'll want 48 or 72 hour escape clause. And how that works is that if you put in an offer conditional on the sale of your property in order to purchase a property, you're going to want to make sure that the property's on the market, number one, and you're going to want to show the listing with the listing price and some of the details about the property. Hopefully it's priced properly and it will be a quick sale, but that's something that the seller would want to see. You'll put in an escape clause, so that means that the people can continue to have their house shown and they can actually look at other offers. If they see another offer that they like just as well, they can accept that offer conditional on the release or firming of your offer. What that means is that you'll have, from giving notice, you'll have 48 or 72 hours to remove all conditions, and when that happens, that means it's a firm deal. The downside of that is if you haven't got your house sold firm, then you could possibly be owning 2 properties until your first property sells. In some instances it does work, and what you want to make sure is you want to find out if you can do bridge financing with your lender. What that means is you're basically paying 2 mortgages for the period of time that the 2 properties are in your possession. Solicitor's approval. Sometimes you want a solicitor to look over if it's a little bit more complex deal. You want your own solicitor to take a look at it, or somebody putting an offer, they want their lawyer to take a look at it. Visit of property. You want to make sure that you have access to the property. After you've got a firm deal, you want to have access to the property before closing. You might want to go in, take measurements, or just go in and just make sure that everything's as it should be. You're also going to ask for either a plan of subdivision, which is if it's an in-town property, it'll be plan of subdivision, or you'll ask for a survey, and that's on a rural property, and that will show primarily the boundaries, where the boundaries of the property are and what the measurements are of the property. Sometimes it will also show where the buildings are in relation to the boundaries. Other things, when it's a rural property, it gets a little bit more complex. You're going to want to do water tests. You generally can do 3 water tests. You want to make sure that you get 0-0 test. I'll have another video talking about water tests and things to look for. You're also going to want well documentation. You want to know where the well is located, how deep the well is, who drilled the well, how old the well is, information like that. Septic certificate, so you're going to want to know when the septic was installed, if it was installed properly, who installed it, and where it's located in relation to the buildings. You want to make sure that, say if you're thinking about putting in a pool, you want to make sure that that septic isn't going to interfere with the location of your pool. You're going to ask for a flow rate. In some instances, you're going to want to know that you're getting good ample supply and good quality water. So your water test and your flow rate sort of go hand in hand. You're going to want wet certificate. So if it has a wood stove, you're going to want it inspected by a wet certified inspector. Sometimes that can be also done at the same time as a home inspection. Other times you may have to get another individual in who is specifically certified for wet certificate. That's going to be required by your insurance company as well. Plan of survey I've already talked about. Another clause that you're going to watch on, especially on rural properties, is HST. You want to know whether HST is included in or in addition to. If it's, the way I look at it is, if it's a income generating property, it will be HST in addition to. If it's a property that doesn't generate an income, it will be HST included in. You want to make sure that that gets covered, because if you don't, and it comes time of closing, you may be responsible for paying HST, which is, in some instances, can be fairly substantial. On other properties, you may have a pool, so you're going to want to have a pool clause in there, just basically stating the homeowner is guaranteeing that the pool is in good working order on closing, and that it was installed properly, when it was installed, any information like that. Taxes, you're going to want to make sure that the taxes are accurate. You don't want to find out that after you've purchased the property that the taxes are double what you thought they were. You're going to possibly want an insurance clause, and that's basically making sure that your insurance company will cover the policy for that property. In some instances, insurance companies get a little bit nervous if it's a certain type of structure, or if it's got certain types of quality finishings in it, or if it's in a certain location, say a floodplain, something like that. You're going to also possibly check on permits. You're going to check with the local municipalities, make sure that if you want to build an addition on the property, or you want to put up a separate structure, that you can actually get the building permit for that property. Oil tank, so you want to have that inspected prior to firming up. You want to make sure that the oil tank is in good order, it's not leaking oil, and in some instances insurance companies will insist that oil tanks can't be older than approximately 10 years. Due diligence. So in some instances, due diligence, it's all encompassing, so it could be a whole series of different things that you want to check out. That could possibly be in relation to building permits, zoning, things like that. Release. So if a property is already conditionally sold, you want to make sure that you can get a release from a prior deal. And something that you should keep in mind is that you need to make sure that the clauses are suitable for the property that you're purchasing, and they make sense for the area that you're purchasing in. And what that requires is, it requires a knowledgeable real estate agent. A lot of times I deal with a lot of rural properties north of Toronto, and a lot of time we get agents coming out of Toronto who, it's obvious when you see the offer that they really have very little experience in selling rural properties or properties north of the city, and quite often they'll be missing certain clauses, and that can only be a detriment to their client. Sometimes they get away with it, sometimes they don't, but it's better to have more clauses than not, unless you're going in with on a conditional sale of a property, or you're going into multiple offers. In a multiple offer, you want to go in with your best and final offer, so you want to go in with the most that you're prepared to pay for the property with the least number of clauses. But you want to make sure that if there is a clause that you need in that, you make sure that you include that, because you won't get a second chance. They may accept that offer immediately. They may not give you a sign back, so you want to make sure that the clauses that you need in are included, and that's responsibility between yourselves and the agent that's representing you. So hopefully you find this information useful. My name is John McKeag. I'm a licensed real estate representative with Royal LePage RCR in Alliston. I've been licensed since 2000. One of the greatest compliments that I can receive as a realtor is a referral of someone's family or friends. If you know somebody that's thinking about buying or selling north of the city, please feel free to pass their name on to me or my name on to them. I'd be more than pleased to work with them. So thanks very much for your time. I hope you find this information useful. Feel free to contact me. You can reach me in person, 7 Victoria Street West in Alliston. It's Royal LePage. Or you can give me a call. My local phone number is 705-435-3000. My direct line is 705-791-2221. My Toronto line is 1-866-772-5368. My email address is johnmckeag@royallepage.ca. My website is www.johnmckeagsells.ca. And my Facebook business page is the symbol @ John McKeag Realtor. Thanks very much for your time, and as I say, I hope you find this useful, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks, bye for now.